Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the Infinite Baffle channel. My name is Niall and today I'm very excited to say that we're going to be looking at KEF's brand new Q Concerto Meta speaker, as you can see here sitting next to me. Now, I actually put a poll on the channel just over a week ago basically saying that we've got the new KEF Q range in, was really excited about it and wanted to know what speaker you wanted to see first. The Concerto was the one that came out on top. We've actually done quite a lot of KEF content over the last couple of months, and every time we talk about a KEF speaker, the feedback's always fantastic. Support, likes, comments, all that kind of stuff is normally absolutely off the chart. So if you do want to see another speaker from the new Q range, the Q7s I believe was the one that came second in the poll. If you'd like to see a video looking at those as well, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. If we can get this video over 50 likes, then we'll do the KEF Q7s as next week's video. So if you do enjoy it, make sure to leave your thumbs up, make sure to leave your feedback in the comment section down below. But let's get stuck into what is KEF's first new model for over 5 years. Very, very exciting. So the KEF Q series is a range that's been part of KEF's catalogue for some time now, but what makes these Q Concertos really, really exciting is the fact that they are actually a brand new speaker to the range. And as I say, KEF's first brand new speaker for over 5 years, and given how well KEF are doing right now, how well they're held in esteem in the current market, how highly people rate them, this is always going to draw a lot of attention. Now, the Concerto is named so because it is actually based on the Concerto speaker from back in 1969, KEF's first ever three-way bookshelf, and the Concerto here, the Q Concerto Meta, is their first ever three-way bookshelf as a part of the Q series range. Again, something that's really exciting to see at this kind of level. At £1,099, this is a really affordable speaker that gives you a lot of the KEF technology that people absolutely love right now. I've got to add as well that I think these are the newest products we've ever looked at on the channel in terms of when they were launched to when we're actually getting to listen to them and take a look at them. So again, your support on the channel is always appreciated. If you do enjoy this, I know a lot of you guys are going to be tuning in for the first time wanting to know, have KEF captured the magic with these Concertos? Well, that's exactly what we're going to look at. And again, any support would be massively appreciated on this one. When it comes to the design and the aesthetics of the speakers, I think they're a pretty modern cabinet, to be honest with you. While I'm talking about this, I will put some of the tech specs on the screen. If you are interested, you can find those in full in the description down below as well. But yeah, touching again on the aesthetics, they come in a black satin, a white satin and a walnut. Walnut, I'm not sure, is something that you normally see from KEF, so it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if that's brand new, but when I think of KEF, I normally think of the black and white option, so it's interesting that I've included a walnut as well. You've obviously got the Uni-Q driver at the top here, which is always a really cool aesthetic thing to look at on its own, and then the bass driver below. Something about the bass driver aesthetically I'm not so keen on. Couldn't really put my finger on why, but I do like the design as a whole. I like the fact you've got the nice little KEF badge on the top, which again, all this is pretty standard for KEF bookshelf speakers, to be honest with you. As we've touched upon, they're three-way bass reflex speakers, rear ported as well, and they're not particularly small. They're quite a chunky bookshelf, but again, I think as far as bookshelf speakers go, pretty modern. With the variation in finishes that you've got as well, I'm sure these will happily sit in most settings, without any issue and fitting really nicely. When we talk about the technology that KEF bring to the table, the two things that we touch upon the most, we spoke about it in previous KEF videos, we're going to speak about it again today, is the metamaterial absorption technology, or MAT for short, and the Uni-Q drivers. Now, the MAT technology is actually something that's never been in the Q series before, so it's super exciting to see that come into what is effectively KEF's entry-level range and bring it into a more accessible region for a lot of people, because what that effectively does is takes away a lot of the distortion that can be created by the tweeter and helps provide a lot more clarity and a much more natural kind of sound. Now, again, to see that in what is effectively KEF's entry-level range is incredible. I mean, you combine that with the Uni-Q driver, which gives you this massive stage and incredible sound. It is always a match made in heaven. So once again, to see that in models like the Concerto, something that's been filtered all the way down from their reference range, is incredible. And as I've already just said, it just makes it a lot more accessible than it has been before. On top of the addition of the MAT technology in the Q series range across the board, obviously the Concertos here are a brand new model, but they've been refining the range as a whole, tweaking the crossover, going to those extra lengths, in the engineering facility just to make sure that they get the absolute maximum out of what's in the cabinet and the cabinet itself. So the crossover has been tuned. On top of that, something I've learned new this week actually, the area here that surrounds the Uni-Q driver is something that KEF called the shadow flare. Sounds incredibly cool, sounds like something you'd almost see in a video game. They've actually made some real slight tweaks to this as well to help give the speakers a little bit more clarity on top of that as well. So all this coming together means, again, I mean, these are £1,099 at retail. I can tell you straight off the bat, the sound that you get from these is something well above what you'd normally get at that price point. When it came to my listening experience, I used a name system around the KEF Concertos. You guys know I use name quite a lot when it comes to testing things because it's a sound I'm familiar with. More than enough power. We used the name Unity Nova in this situation here, in this setup, and sounded absolutely fantastic. I mean, one thing I'll always say about KEF, the way that they're engineered is that they're not massively difficult to drive, and because of the great sound you get out of them as well, it's always really simple when it comes to pairing, and you can really, there's a lot of options out there is what I'm trying to say. For the kind of system that you're trying to put together, you're always going to be really flexible with a pair of KEFs, and the Concertos are no exception there. When it comes to the sound that these Concertos put out, it is really another great success story between the MAT technology and the Uni-Q driver. I mean, KEF, as we've said before on this channel when we've looked at other speakers, they're known for their dynamic, clear, natural musical sound, and the Concertos are no different on that front whatsoever. Again, that Uni-Q driver combining with the MAT technology means you get this massive soundstage for a bookshelf speaker and a fantastic low end to support them as well. Now, if you wanted to add a subwoofer into the mix, if you're looking at getting a bigger system, I don't think it'd go amiss. And again, that takes some of the stress off the speakers as well to help them shine even further. But just as they were on their own, that fantastic signature KEF sound is there again, and again, that Uni-Q and MAT technology combination just does not miss. These are absolutely fantastic speakers. Crazy thing is, this MAT technology first came around in the LS50s in 2020, I believe it was, and I think if you'd have heard these speakers before that point, and you didn't know the price of them, you didn't know that these were £1,099, and you put them on the, put them in a system, said to someone, come in here, how much do you think these speakers are? I think you would genuinely be guessing 2 or 3 times more expensive than these Concertos are. That combination of the technology that KEF put together and the fine tuning they've done is really paying dividends here, because the sound is just far, far, far and above what you'd expect from what is effectively an £1,000 speaker here. And again, I think if you were coming into this as like a blind test and you didn't know any of the pricing, there is no way you would think these would be £1,000 speaker, particularly again if you were going back before people first came across this MAT technology in 2020. It is insane what the engineers at KEF have managed to put together here. What KEF are really well known for as well, which I've again spoke about in previous KEF videos, is taking the technology that's at the reference level, the sharp end of the knife with what they do, and bringing that down. And year on year, they're making it more and more and more accessible. And I just think it's amazing that you can get a sound like this for £1,000, which isn't small change, don't get me wrong. But again, if you were to go back a few years, I don't think a lot of people would have thought this would even be possible. I mentioned it at the start as well, but whether you're someone that's looking to use these in a 2-channel traditional system for music, maybe adding a subwoofer in there potentially, or if you're looking to listen to these in an AV system in like a 5.1 or a 7.2 with the rest of the Q series speakers that have just been released potentially, again, I don't see why there's going to be a problem there. They seem to balance both worlds really, really well, which is an area where some speakers, I don't want to say that they struggle, because I do think you find some manufacturers really target their speakers to be for music specifically or for AV specifically, but these could definitely handle both worlds really well. I mean, the key in that area is usually the low end, and again, the way these are designed, the low end of them is absolutely outstanding for a bookshelf speaker, and that has been the case with these KEF bookshelves for a couple of years now. They've absolutely nailed the recipe. One thing I always mention when it comes to speakers around the £1,000 price point is that it's fantastic as a consumer, because there are so many options. It's an incredibly competitive price point. I mean, just from a personal point of view, options like the models like the ATC SCM7s, Focal Aria Evo X's are both outstanding personal favourites of mine, but the Concertos here do without doubt bring something new to the table at that price point. And I think just by default, because that it's a new speaker from KEF and the reputation that they have right now with that Uni-Q and MAT technology built into a speaker at this level, they're going to be popular straight off the bat. I think people are going to be interested to listen to them, and you can see exactly why, because even compared to the speakers that I love at the price points, I mean, ATC's incredible level of detail, fantastic sound. Focals, I own a pair of Focals myself. I adore their sound, you know, that traditional, warm, detailed sound. But these Concertos and just the KEF speakers in general at the moment definitely bring something new to the table. I mean, for £1,100 here, the staging that you get, the low end that you get, the clarity that you get, it's just not something that's normally accessible at this kind of price point from my experience. So I'm sure these are going to be an absolute winner. Normally at this point, I would say if you have listened to these, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But given how new these are, I don't imagine there's going to be too many people that have had a chance to listen to them yet. So do still let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And if you do happen to have had to listen to them already, I'd be really intrigued to know what your experience was like. We've obviously been lucky enough to listen to these via Audio Affair. A link to the products will always be in the description down below. I mean, if you are interested, be sure to get in touch, and I'm sure those guys can provide more information, you know, perhaps even booking a demonstration for you. But that's just about going to round up this video. If you did enjoy it, as I mentioned at the start, supporting the channel is always fantastic. Leave a thumbs up on this one. If you want to see a video on the Q7s, get this video to 50 likes and we'll make that happen. And again, support is always hugely appreciated. We'll see you all in next week's video, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. See you then.